Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Gadigal people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, July 10. In Squiz Kids Today, ashes come down to the wire, surprising megalodon discovery, Tay Tay's big weekend, and the return of the chubby-cheeked rat. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
If you come across a bunch of people today yawning their heads off with glassy-eyed stares, there's a good chance they were among the thousands of Aussies who stayed up really late last night to watch the latest twist in the battle for cricket's strangest trophy, also known as the Ashes, as England fought back to make the scoreline now 2-1. If the Aussies had won this test match instead of losing it to England, they would have been 3-0 up and the Ashes would have been secured. As it is though, the two sporting rivals will face one another for a fourth and hopefully final test in Manchester in just over a week's time. Of course, the men's Ashes competition wasn't the only show in town at the weekend. Australia's women's team came within a whisker of claiming the Ashes during a tight game at Lord's yesterday morning. The Aussies went down to England in their T20 clash, but still lead the series 6-4. And celebrations were the order of the day in Adelaide on Saturday, when the Adelaide Thunderbirds beat the New South Wales Swifts in a thrilling grand final of the Super Netball competition. The final score, 60 points to 59, with the game forced into overtime. The win was all the sweeter for the South Australians, given that they've spent the last 9 years at the bottom of the ladder. In front of a sold-out crowd in Melbourne, at the final whistle, the Thunderbirds collapsed onto the court. In front of a sold-out crowd in Melbourne, at the final whistle, the Thunderbirds collapsed to the court in a giant celebratory cuddle. And why not too? Thunderbirds are go.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in the ocean? Ooh, it's cold. Where scientists have discovered that the megalodon, the giant prehistoric shark that once traversed the oceans, was not the cold-blooded killer it was thought to be. Killer, yes. Cold-blooded, not so much. You might know that birds and mammals, like us, are warm-blooded, meaning that the food we eat is turned into energy to fuel our bodies and heat our insides. But other animals, like reptiles and fish, are cold-blooded. Their blood takes on the temperature of its surrounding environment. Have you ever seen a snake basking in the sun? It's just warming up. By studying fossilized megalodon teeth, scientists have discovered that megalodons had a body temperature that was warmer than the prehistoric oceans that they inhabited. This is probably what allowed them to grow to the length of a 10-pin bowling lane and weigh as much as 20 African elephants. Whoa! But being so big meant that they needed to eat heaps of food to produce enough energy to keep warm, and a lack of food may have been one of the reasons that they died out, which I hate to say, I'm kind of glad they did.
Animal Kingdom.
Now here's a question for you. What is small and furry and has chubby cheeks and does bright green poos? No, it's not your baby brother after too much bubblegum ice cream. It's a broad-toothed rat, which is a native species. And thanks to the excellent sense of smell of a tracking dog at Melbourne's Healesville Sanctuary, a little collection of the super cute rodent has been found. Rodent is the scientific name for rats, mice, and other creatures that use long front teeth to gnaw. Moss, the tracking dog, was just doing the rounds of Healesville when he stumbled across a teeny tiny pile of bright green poo, indicating the presence of broad-toothed rats. Now, why is that exciting? Because the broad-toothed rat is an endangered species and notoriously shy and very hard to track down in the wild. Though, how exactly a chubby-cheeked rat with bright green poo is hard to track down, I'm not entirely sure. But I have stuck a photo of a broad-toothed rat in your episode notes so you can see just how cute they are.
Pop Culture Corner.
Did your internet connection melt down over the weekend? Then blame Taylor Swift. You might remember the singer-songwriter broke the internet 2 weeks ago when she put her Australian concert tickets on sale. Well, she did it again over the weekend with the re-release of Speak Now, an album she wrote over 13 years ago. It's the third of 6 albums that Tay Tay is re-recording and re-releasing on her own terms after she had a dispute with her old record label. More proof, if any were needed, that too much Tay Tay is apparently never enough. It's a new school term. I know, right? Could you be any more excited? Well, we're excited here at Squiz Kids HQ too, because with the start of this new school term, we're going to be operating to a whole new schedule. Following our recent survey of listeners, and a big thanks to all of those who took part, we're changing up the Squiz Kids weekly schedule. Meaning, a Squiz Kids Today daily news podcast every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, a Squiz Kids shortcut or a Squiz the World every Tuesday, and a bit of fun to round out the week with a Kids versus Adult weekly news quiz every Friday. Plus Classroom Companions on Mondays and Wednesdays. Same excellent Squiz Kids content, still absolutely gobsmackingly free, just delivered differently. You're welcome.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What colour is the poo of the broad-toothed rat? Yeah, that's right, it's bright green. Ew. Question number 2. Name the album that Taylor Swift re-released at the weekend. Yes, indeed. The album is called Speak Now. Question number 3. Name the underwater dinosaur that scientists now believe was warm-blooded. Yes, that's right. It's the megalodon.
Shout-outs.
It's July 10, start of a new school term, but only if you're in Victoria and Queensland. Too bad for you guys. And as I've also explained, start of a new schedule for Squiz Kids Today and also for birthday shout-outs. The following Squiz Kids are celebrating a birthday today or tomorrow. Jacob from Yass, Lewis from Exeter, Alira from Baronia, Ollie from Mernda, Caden from Belgrave South, Charlotte from Skye, Sadie from Junee, Georgia from Parkinson, Beatrice from Andrews Farm, Sienna from Chapel Hill, and Camilo, who's listening all the way over there in New Zealand, and Dustimo, who's listening all the way up there in South Korea. And quite a few of you celebrated a birthday during the week. The Squiz Kids team were having a well-earned rest, but we don't want you to miss out, so we'll work through the belated school holiday shout-outs over the coming week. Including for Martina from Brisbane, Lynn from Algester, Franklin from Malvern East, Charlotte from Forest Lake, Caden from Belgrave South, Eli and Rye from Montmorency, Taylor and Skip from Cannon Hill, Matilda and Quinn from Duncraig, Will from Neareen South, Dia and Lucas from Oak Park, Lucy from Maruka, Jade from Mount Gravatt, and Eleanor, also from Mount Gravatt. And classroom shout-outs today go to Class 1A and Mrs. McDonald at the Southport State School, Class 5R and Mr. McCann at St. Paul's Catholic Primary School in Albion Park, Class 3 Gold and Mrs. Parker at St. Eugene College in Burpengary, Class 4S Red at Dion's School of the Air in Victoria, and Class 6 HI with Miss Holland and Ms. Ingham at Jindalee State School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again on Wednesday. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.